and welcome once again to the Lady Afterwards. Tonight, this morning, our associates find themselves in the Teatro Zanenia, the theater that they had decided to hold up in after losing faith in the abilities of their previous American host at La Metropole. After a rather intense battle with the Fulgent known as Everett Lapidoth, the crew has managed to have its first good, full, restful night's sleep without any dreams, without any messages, and without fear of fascination caused by the Fulgent's ability. Tonight, it is Sunday, June 30th. There is not much left for our associates here. Apologies, it is Sunday, June 30th. There's not much left for our associates here, but to hopefully find Gwendolyn Farouk and hopefully stop Audrey Lee Howard from whatever it is that she plans to do with her daughter. You all find yourselves waking up later in the morning. It's actually about 9:30, going on 10 o'clock in the morning. After a rather intense day yesterday, the full night's sleep felt so good that the darkness didn't want to let you go. Thankfully, you all wake up and you feel refreshed, you feel ready for the day. But there isn't as much of it left, given that so much of the morning has been slept away. There is enough provisions for yourselves and the dancers of Zaninia, and the proprietor, Madame Eugenie, is currently reading through the day's newspaper, and while sipping at tea. Unfortunately, there are no English muffins.
Well, that's sad making. But I assume there's coffee.
There is.
Which seems vastly more important considering that I was up late drinking, so...
How hungover is Margaret today?
Margaret, give me a physique roll.
Of course you would ask that question.
It was supposed to be a joke, I'm sorry.
Let's see.
I forget that my actions have consequences.
Unfortunately for people that aren't you sometimes. Oh, I'm fine.
You're used to it.
I drink a lot. This is nothing.
Yeah, this was like a very easy night in, comparatively. And what are the rest of you doing?
There's no English muffin, but Francois, being the Frenchman he is, will be looking for croissant.
There are actually a few croissants. A few of the dancers here are French, so they basically either bake or have various things sent to them from family back in Paris or other smaller towns outside of it.
Then he will grab some coffee and start eating some croissant.
Jade actually has a slow rise, which is probably the first time in a very long time that she had a uneventful rest. So she has like a slow rise, and she's definitely like laying down, staring at the ceiling, and she's like, "Oh my god, I don't want to get out of bed." But eventually she does, and she'll like drag herself over and grab whatever pastry is right in front of her, and then also she'll get a cup of tea this time. She doesn't need the coffee.
Very well.
And not reading any of her books, just like taking in the fact that she had a solid night's rest.
Absolutely fair. Aurora,
Mm-hmm.
You wake up
Mm-hmm.
and you have never felt more alert, never felt more truly in the moment, truly in yourself. And you still remember the words of the woman that you spoke with. She had said to you that there is more than one way to handle physical threats, that there are those who'd be willing to help if you know how to call. And in your mind, there is a ritual that was not there before.
Ooh.
This ritual requires a sacrifice.
Oh,
What?
there it is.
Not a
What was that?
not a life
Don't worry about it.
sacrifice. Just the sacrifice of flesh and blood.
Oh.
It requires that one be willing to scar themselves to show dedication to the power that it was just to bring on. The name of the power is unknown to you, but you know it is there.
Then I'm gonna go and see if I can actually scout out a meal today for the first time in like 3 days, like an actual meal and not just a piece of bread.
Okay.
Clara's still just eating bread and coffee.
Fair enough. As you are all enjoying your breakfast, you hear a knock at the front of the theater's doors. They are a little bit larger and well built, but the knock is powerful. The sound ringing around the theater itself and up to the back rooms of it. Eugenie makes her way out to see who it is, and leaves the newspaper at her seat.
I would like to snatch the newspaper.
Yeah, what's the newspaper?
Mm-hmm.
The newspaper is this. It is yesterday's newspaper.
States.
While everyone's looking at the newspaper, Jade is going to... Is Madame Eugenie with us, or she was at the door?
She went to go check at the door.
Gotcha. Are any of the dancers just around us?
A few of them are.
Gotcha. So while everyone grabs the newspaper, she's gonna briefly just kind of talk to the dancers and go, so... I heard from Madame Eugenie that some of you have also been having the weird dreams too? What was happening in yours?
There was a weird light. A fatherly figure. A motherly figure as well, though she came in much later. And last night, the dreams left. There was nothing. It was just peaceful and restful.
Oh,
Which is good after so long.
that's good to hear. Same. We also, or at the very least, I also had a pretty restful sleep too. I mean, restful sleep too. Oh, it is nice. She's gonna stretch and drink her tea. And then if anyone comes over with the newspaper, she'll finally look at it.
Fair enough. As you all see Madame Eugenie come back, she says, "It seems that our guests have a visitor." And she steps out of the way, and behind her is a tall, thin woman with deep, brownish, sandy blonde hair. Well kept, looking very intent as she steps forward. She wears a long white dress with great sequins that glint in the light of the day. And she looks to the lot of you and smiles, but the smile is not warm. It is practiced. It is almost forced. Good
Do
morning.
any of us recognize her?
We've got a whole host of issues tonight.
You do not.
Well, I will give her the same very painfully practiced smile. I have to do this a lot in high society. I have to pretend that I'm happy to see people all the time.
It is good to finally put faces to names. I apologize. Might we speak more privately?
You haven't even given us your name yet.
This is true. I should play along. I am Madame Matutine. A pleasure.
A name anybody recognizes?
It is not a name that anyone of high society will recognize, though everyone who has night arts can give me a roll of that.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, here I go.
Not concerning that that's what we're getting asked to roll. All right.
Here I go killing again.
Here I go killing again.
Let's see. I don't have much. Oh, hey,
Oh, hell yeah.
great.
There you
and
go.
it's a double. Nice. Success.
Very well. So, those who got a regular success do not recognize the name. Those of you who got an astonishing success know that this name is associated with a group called the Legaeans. Very powerful esoteric beings. Well, people who have attained esoteric power, and lots of it. She is of a particular all-female group that tend to watch and look for anything interesting. Or anyone interesting.
I think hearing her say her name, Jade is going to like spit up the coffee or the tea she was drinking for a second and like wipe her face and sit up and go, maybe we should meet with her privately.
Do we really have much of a choice?
I'm giving Jade this look like I don't know if this is you being serious or you being crazy.
It doesn't hurt with the things we're looking for. We may have some assistance here from Madam.
Oh, very well.
Perhaps you will.
Get us over with, shall we?
She will be led by Eugenie to a little side room that looks a bit like a meeting room, kind of like where they would draw plans and ideas for what to do for the next performance. She stays standing while everyone else is gestured to sit down.
Oh, I'm standing.
Francois will sit down, but before he goes, he will take a croissant, wrap it in napkins, and keep it in his pocket.
Clara will also remain standing.
I'm gonna sit right in front of her.
I'll sit too.
So you've all found yourselves quite in an interesting predicament.
Well, that's certainly one way to put what we found ourselves in, yes.
Not many are able to stand against a fulgent, even in a physical a physical matter, as it were. I tend to avoid them myself. I find them rather uppity.
Well, this one certainly seemed uppity, but... Well, it's certainly not any worth anything I've dealt with before. At least not much.
You all must understand. What I'm going to ask of you is what you have been asked to do before. To find Gwendolyn for the people that I represent do not wish to see Miss Lee Howard complete her goals for this evening.
Madam, if I can, we were gonna do this anyway, but I guess, and she's gonna look to the group kind of nervously, but then kind of look back to this lady. We're kind of stuck a little bit. If you could help us in a way, then sure. I mean, we were planning on doing this anyways, and we could really get it done quicker, maybe, if we had... Pretty much, we need to find... What was it called? The Serapeum. Something about following the smell of jasmine. If you could just give us the direction there, so we don't have to sniff around, we can help more. But also, you said you're... Not that I think that, like, you're gonna hurt her or maybe or something. Or you could, but I don't really know. You said your people don't want her hurt, but what does your people want with her?
Less that we care about her well-being and more that we care that her mother stays in her lane. What she would be doing is, to some, a necessity. To us, it is a vile thing. She would try to use this as a way to endear herself to us. She would be doing the opposite. We do not like what she is planning, but it would give her an in. We do not want her to have that.
Now, when you say that some consider this a necessity, what kinds of people consider what she's planning to be a necessity?
Those that do not think enough about how to handle issues without the simplest solution. Sometimes the simplest is the correct solution, and other times it is foul.
Sorry again, ma'am. So not all of us are pretty well-versed in all... honestly, it kind of took me coming here to realize that this stuff was actually real and it wasn't just my dreams. But not all of us are really... we don't all follow what's going on, so if you can speak it in a little bit less riddled, that'd be...
She's going to try and eat her child in order to gain some sort of horrific power that would at least fit with all of the motifs of eating people, the postcard of Cronus saying family first.
She gives a much more genuine smile to Clara, more impressed than kind. Well done. The crime of the sky, as it is called. Two beings of immense power, called Longs, are not permitted to lay together. Their progeny would cause them to become ravenous. I imagine the only reason that they did not consume her there is because, well, Everett does not have a body to feed upon her, and Ashley was enjoying a large amount of morphine at the time.
Everett?
The fulgent that you dispelled back into the Mansis.
Question to Solomon.
Answer to Sam.
On the telegram, how do you say the name of the person that was the receiver again?
Actually, I believe that BP would know how to better pronounce that.
Oh.
Oh goodness, which one is the telegram?
it's
There's
the
so
one
many things.
Epidote.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's the name that's Outis.
I have too many things open.
Because my New Yorker wants to say Otis, and I know it's not that.
Which artifact? What's the name of the artifact?
Epidote.
Right. I believe it's yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Outis. It's no.
I thought you had pronounced it before, but we'll just go ahead and say it's Witi.
Witi? Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
like a more French pronunciation.
I studied German, not French.
Yikes.
Well then.
So this is Greek.
So
Or
then,
I didn't study Greek either, so you know.
So then Jade's going to ask to Madame Matutine. Do you know anything about a Miss OT?
I believe she is a member of the Endeavor Lodge.
And she's not, or do you know if she's mixed up in all of this stuff too?
I believe the Endeavor Lodge has been working to protect Gwendolyn. Though I could be wrong, there could be other things at play here.
Oh, it's pronounced Outis.
Outis? Okay.
Outis.
Okay, Outis. Perfect. Interesting. Because someone was talking to her as well. And
it's also worth noting that Outis is a very common placeholder name in Greek text. Was frequently used when you didn't want to refer to someone directly. You wanted to use a, stand-in name. So it may not be a specific person at all. They did that a lot.
She's in the Endeavor Lounge, though. Okay. Just wondering the people we should be keeping an eye out for, because it seems like now there's a group that wants to protect Gwendolyn, and there's a group that wants to take Gwendolyn, and I don't want us to go through all of this and, I don't know, save her, get her, or whatever, and we just hand her over to another group that's gonna, I don't know, eat her or transform her into a giant light or something.
Back to the subject of this crime of the sky. So I'm assuming after devouring their child, they become something? Is that what this term Alukai refers to? Because I've seen this mentioned alongside.
That is correct. They would become known as an Alucite. Alright, they are akin to cannibals. Beings who ritualistically consume flesh. They have become unto monsters in and of themselves. If they did not perform the correct rites and preparations to ensure that they could at least keep their human guise. Some devolve, others ascend. As for her, I do not wish to find out.
So then, do you know where this invisible Sarah whatsoever is then?
She smiles to Jade. I believe that you would do well to go and see the tomb of Komer Shakafa. Let me just put it that way.
Okay.
And you will come along with us?
An interesting thought. Should I? Can I? I can. And she will just look at all of you. Why should I?
I don't think you should.
You have a stake in this as well as just like we are. And we would any assistance rendered.
Well, odds are if she had a large enough stake in it, she'd be doing things herself instead of pulling it off on some random people that she's just met.
This is all true.
The way that I see it, her only real stake in any of this is that whatever this is doesn't happen. Not so much that the girl gets out of it well enough.
All true. It is not end-all be-all if Howard is to become an Alucite. We would just vastly prefer he didn't. If it was necessary, then we would not be having this conversation. But it is just a preference.
Yes. Anyone who is that self-interested where cannibalism is concerned is not someone I want hanging around. No offense.
Absolutely none taken.
Okay.
As that has been all I wish to speak to you about, I believe I will take my leave, unless others of you wish me to stay.
I have one question.
I might have an answer.
Let's say at some point in time, and she's going to move a little bit away from the group because she doesn't want anyone to silence her. If at some point in time we have to travel to Alexandria Lighthouse, is there anything you would say we should do to perhaps protect ourselves? or shield ourselves from what could possibly be in there. Yeah, we've seen rituals be done before, but, or at least I've had one be put on me before. Is there anything that you know that could help us all out?
Nothing quite so easy, unfortunately. Though, I do know that if you're going to go to the lighthouse, it would be best to assume that there will be threats there. No matter the reason for going there, be it searching or what have you, it is best to assume that what awaits you will not be friendly. You will have to figure out how you wish to deal with that, be it physically, as she glances over to Clara, or perhaps through skill or wit, and she will glance over to Margaret.
How about less mundane means?
Or books?
I believe if you are able to find the Serapeum, you should find a decent bit of what you need there to perform any protective rites or to find assistance. They're well known for having a large library and having a decent number of tools on standby, should you need them.
Right.
With that, she gives you all another smile and a slight bow before she begins to depart.
Jeez. Well, I guess we're going to some tombs today, unless anyone else has any plans.
I believe at least some of us should at some point check out Fort Kate Bay. It seems the Endeavor Lodge is currently looking for new members.
Oh yes, and I saw in the paper something about this Madame Otis as well. So maybe we can, so whoever ends up going can figure out something there. I'd say I don't think I'd be best in that environment.
I don't exactly think any of us would be their preferred clientele, but
Out of character, what kind of place is this Endeavor Lodge?
So it specifically mentions that military personnel are encouraged to apply.
Or anyone who's just generally working for the betterment of themselves, but largely betterment of the British Empire.
Oh, well, I do extremely well in places like that. They're always looking for wealthy patrons.
Also, I could have sworn this ball that's being talked about was supposed to happen tonight.
I can't be in two places at once, but I could go to one and then the other, I suppose.
It's actually meant to be happening tonight. That was a typo, I believe.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So half to the tomb and half to the lounge?
Well, I certainly think Miss Roberts and Miss Warner would be more at home in this Serapeum.
I think that might be true. How about it? You and me, we go check it out?
Yeah, please. I don't want to go to the lounge.
Me either.
Before we part ways, I would like to very gently kind of tug Aurora aside. and lower my voice so that Jade specifically can't overhear. Young Miss Warner is too trusting of the people that we meet because they know things. Keep an eye on her, yes?
No need to worry. I know that I come off as maybe a bit in the same line of curiosity as Miss Warner, but
Yes, but you don't seem naive. She does.
I take a more cautious approach, I will admit. I'll be sure to keep her safe.
Good.
And if need be, I can always just dull her senses.
This is true. I'd like to not see her get to the point of mania again, but if it comes to it and that's the only option, then I understand.
It's either that or morphine.
Perhaps not the morphine.
The dulling of the senses then shall work particularly just as fine as it did the last time. No need to worry, Lady Wyndham. She's in capable hands.
I will look at Francois. And who do you want to go with?
Preference, madam.
I'm sorry?
No preference.
I imagine he'd probably be more at place at the lodge.
Very well, if that's where you need me.
All right, darling. Shall we get going then? Burning daylight.
Yeah, this is exciting. Do you mind if we stop at the hotel? I'll admit a book was kind of dropped off at my in my room, and I wanted to pick it up and give it a look at too while we head to this place.
I don't mind that whatsoever.
I also recommend the two of you speak to Mr. Lewis about acquiring some way to defend yourselves.
Oh.
The
Sure.
owner of the hotel? That's
Sure.
weird.
Oh, yes, I think you'll find it quite enlightening.
I'm one for enlightenment. All right, let's go, kiddo. Early bird catches the worm, or whatever they say in America, I guess.
Yep, and she'll go along with her.
Clara, darling,
Yes.
are you sure going around a bunch of military people is where you want to be?
I don't feel like I'll exactly fit in at the other place, but
I am happy to have you with us if you would prefer. I'm giving you the option because I know you tend to get uncomfortable around authority.
I think I'll take my chances with the military.
All right.
So, we are going to start off by following Jade and Aurora. Do you stop by the Hotel La Metropole to speak to Mr. Lewis? Or do you just head over to the Tomb of Komish Kafa?
I think we wanted to stop at the hotel so Jade could get a book. So, I mean, Aurora, while waiting for Jade, would probably try to strike up a conversation with Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, exactly
enough.
that.
Okay, you're able to easily get back to your rooms. Mr. Lewis seems not too surprised by the fact that you did not stay at the hotel the previous evening. While Jade is getting her book, he looks to you, Miss Roberts, and just glances over you and says, "You want something, don't you?"
Does the look of desperation or need, or want, I guess, really rest on my face? But,
I'm just good at getting to what people need. So, what exactly you looking for? I'm guessing that I have been recommended.
Darling, I'm looking for a bunch of things, but I do hear that you have things that might help me defend myself and my dear friend who's up in her room right now.
And what exactly are you looking for? Something that will help you keep a long-distance relationship with the individual you are wanting to protect yourself from, or are you more up close and personal with your goodbyes?
I'm very up close and personal.
I see. You want something you're gonna hide, or are you gonna be very blatant about this?
Give me something that I can hide. I'm a woman who loves to give surprises.
I see. Very well. And he will just take a look around, and once he's sure that nobody's watching, he just reaches into his jacket and pulls out a short, curved knife that looks to be very well made, but it also looks to have had a lot of wear and tear, a lot of use on it. I've done as best as I could to make sure that this was as ready to go to its next owner as possible. I figured that this should probably do if you're just looking to get into a rather small but quiet scrap.
Why, thank you. And how much is this going for? What do I owe such a lovely gentleman such as yourself?
I'll just go ahead and call it good. You can just pay me by not staying in my hotel for much longer. No offense, but the company you keep, that brings eyes.
And the company that I keep, my friends aren't that bad.
Not all of them.
I can assure you, Mr. Lewis, we probably won't be in this area for much longer.
Good. Then I wish you the absolute best in whatever it is that is keeping you here right now.
And
Jade, you are very easily able to find the book up in your room.
Yeah, she tucked it away.
Excellent. And what were you going to say, Miss Roberts?
No, she was just going to wish him well and walk off.
Fair enough. So, book in hand and knife hidden elsewhere on oneself. You both head over to the tomb of Colmetal Shakafa. The catacombs are rather quiet. There's a lush garden of tall grass and fig trees, pines, and golden flowers that sort of frame it well. You can see that there is a rather large gate that welcomes people in several different languages to this rather peaceful and rather important location to Alexandria. You can smell jasmine. You can see that there is a bunch of scaffolding, and there are men at the entrance that are to the area where the scent is coming from.
All right. Well, they weren't lying when they said it would smell like jasmine. Guess we head over there.
I guess so. Jade.
Aurora?
How good are you handling a knife?
Not at all. I'm a klutz when it comes to stuff like that. I've done shooting before once, but I'm also not too good at that.
Okay.
What?
If we get in trouble, and we're in a pinch. I need your word that what you might see me do does not leave you, does not leave me, does not leave this area. And I'm going to leave it at that for now, just in case.
Okay. Sure.
But shall we head in?
Yeah. And she'll follow after her, holding the book to her chest.
As you approach, the two men that are guarding the entrance, which look to be like lower ranking officers, hold up a hand and say, excuse us, apologies, but this place is under reconstruction at the moment. I'm afraid we were going to have to ask you to find the beauty and peace of this place elsewhere.
Gentlemen, my sincerest apologies. You see, my friend and I are, well, we are, architects. More so, coming around this area and just taking notes and seeing what we need to find to go report back to our bosses. Isn't that right, my dear?
Yep. We are. And this is important business that we need to handle. And take notes. And she's gonna take out her notepad and show like the random scribblings she's done. Lots of notes I gotta take.
You don't want to keep two people from doing their job to help make your catacombs and the resting places of a bunch of people any less discomforting. Do you?
I am going to need a bamboozle check. With advantage because of the assistance.
Perfect.
How good
Don't
are
have
y'all
to do that, right?
bamboozling?
I'm very good at bamboozling.
Okay,
I got
good.
nothing in it, so
All right. 5.
nice.
Well, all right then. The two gentlemen look at each other and then at you and say, our sincerest apologies. We were not expecting... Please go in, and they just step away.
That is very much correct. And next time you disturb my compatriot and I from doing our work, we will report back to our supervisor and make the planning go a little bit extra long. Good day, sirs. She's just gonna.
That sounds like a very strangely worded murder threat.
Jade is gonna walk slightly slower behind her and turn to them and go, sorry, she's had a really rough morning. It's okay, I understand. It's have a good day. And then she's gonna keep going. And like kind of like try to run after her and be like, miss whatever, just trying to call out a random name to be like, oh, I'm following after her.
So, as you head inside, the scent of jasmine is quite strong. But I'm going to need either a tracking or a bright arts roll to be able to follow it more keenly.
Bright arts, here we go.
Yeah, bright arts.
I am going to use the, let me see here, what do we got? I'm gonna re-roll using the moth, one of the d6s from the moth. It's rolling the 10 because this in itself is a bit unpredictable and a bit chaotic, considering the two kind of let's be honest, the two batshit crazies out of the group are working together to explore a land of death and possibly chaos where neither one of us are probably super prepared. So that's how I'm playing this off. I'd like to reroll the 10s on my die.
By all means, which die are you using from the moth?
The d6.
Got it.
Uh, 58 is a success for me.
All right. So, following your nose and understanding that this place is hidden away for a purpose, but knowing that Jasmine has several purposes beyond just perfume, you're able to follow along with that scent, with that feeling that lingers within it. You see a large statue of the Greek being Serapis. And past it, you find a small, ancient Greek little temple. Not like a grand Parthenon-esque building, but a small entryway into a smaller shrine that is very indicative of Greek influence. Seeing the shrine and then past it, you do see a much larger place, a much more Parthenon-esque, grander building that should not have space to exist within the catacombs. And in front of it, you see a Austin 12 motor carriage as well. One that has the license plate that has the last four numbers 18. One moment.
Is it
License plate
1836?
It is 1836 1836 RW.
Oh, that was the same license plate that stole homegirl, Gwendolyn.
As you pass it, you see inside that there is a rather large open hall where there are three people sitting around a rather large circular table enjoying tea. There is an older woman who looks stern and a bit mulish, but she also seems to be very intense, very sure of herself, very confident. And she is speaking in Greek with two people. One, a man of mixed descent, looks a little bit Syrian, a little bit Caucasian, who is wearing a wide-brimmed hat and has a very well-kept beard and mustache. And he is sitting beside and looking with occasional longing glances at a young woman who looks a little bit like your dear friend Loretta, her niece, Gwendolyn Farouk.
What should we do?
Yeah, she's just sitting there. Does she look distressed at all?
No, she looks like she has had a bit of a rough night, but she looks happy. She is speaking rather loudly and laughing occasionally, and enjoying her tea as she speaks to this man and this older woman.
Should we maybe try to get a better listen?
Yeah. And maybe I can also like blab a little bit about this book that appeared in my room. So just in case they're like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Because I mean, this definitely isn't a normal book. It's actually the book I've been looking for. Okay, it's a book I've been looking for, and it's kind of mixed in with this stuff. So maybe if they start to be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I could be like, "Oh, I feel like this book guided me here," or something like that.
What book is it that you were looking for again?
Oh, it's Traveling at Night, the third volume. It just appeared in my room. I have yet to read it. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good series. I can give you the first and the second volume so you can read it. But
Yeah, I mean,
well,
after this, obviously.
yes, after, yeah, later.
Yeah, totally.
As you approach, the rather mulish woman, while taking in the middle of taking a sip, says, "Are you both going to stand there and babble, or are you going to come and ask your questions?" And then she takes a sip as three small, rather fluffy-looking black puppies come out from underneath the table and look up at you with these piercing blue eyes, looking curious. They just move into a little line and just sit down and wag their little tails as they look up at both of you. Gwendolyn looks at you with a bit of fear, but then you also see the gentleman stand up and take his hat off out of respect, but you also see that an intense determination in him.
Righto. Jade, why don't you ask the question that you wanted to ask?
Well, we spoke with I can't seem to remember her name, but a weird lady, while I was reading into my books here. It's Traveling at Night. I don't know if you've ever read it before. But
I am well versed in a lot of his work.
You are? I recently got the third volume, and I'm about to start reading into it, but there's some parts that I wanted a little bit of a deeper read into, and I'm sorry, I get excited easily about this stuff. But with a lot of the weird dreams I've been having, and this book just appearing, and this weird woman appearing too, she kind of just told me to follow my nose and my hunch, and I brought my friend here, and we found ourselves here. And I guess I just wanted to have a chat, maybe find kindred souls.
Jade.
Jade is sweating.
Jade? I'm going to need you to please roll me determination with 2 disadvantages.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
Holy cow.
This is fine.
Time
It's
to
like-
fucking dull your senses again.
Look, all I'm saying is if you go crazy, make sure you grab a puppy before you run.
True.
You got it.
Who's cat?
Margaret needs a puppy.
This is not
After
gonna
everything
work.
that's happened these past few days, yeah.
I think we all need a puppy or some therapy.
I most definitely did not pass.
Okay. So, she just finishes her sip of her tea and looks up to you and says, No. The actual questions. And she just gestures over with her head over to Gwendolyn.
Oh, those questions.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna look at Aurora and then kind of shrug. We just want to talk to Gwendolyn.
Well then, come and sit down. I shall pour you both a cup as well.
Yeah.
There are actually 2 seats that have a cup in front of them, as if they were expecting you.
Well, let's go.
Right, we're gonna sit down.
We're gonna sit down.
As you sit down, the gentleman goes ahead and takes a seat once again. The woman speaks up. Says, "You don't need to worry about hiding your intentions here. I know exactly why you are present. I am Dr. Serena Blackwood. I am the director of the Serapeum. I am the one who oversees its well-being and ensures that it is only found by those who truly mean to do well by it. You know Miss Farouk, the scholar, a rather bright young thing, isn't she? And Mr. Farafez of the Endeavor Lodge.
Isn't that where the others are going?
Yeah. Okay. Well then, nice to meet you. I'm Jade Warner. Academic, I guess.
And I'm Aurora Roberts. Medium.
You're quite more than that, Miss Roberts, but if that is what you wish to go by all means.
I've got a lot of special talents.
That you do, from what I've seen and heard.
Hopefully only good things.
She doesn't answer that, she just says, "So, why exactly are you looking for Miss Farouk? As you can see, she is quite safe and sound with our associate, Mr. Farafez, despite the way that he ensured her safety being quite loud and not good for the presses." She just gives him a look that just like daggers right at him, and he just looks rather sheepish. It was not my intention to cause a scene, but we had to ensure that she was safe right away. The good captain and the good madam insisted that she be safe right away.
Well, it's, I guess, the nature of how she vanished is what gave us more, I guess, a little bit of urgency to find her. I don't know how much I can say. Pretty much your aunt told us to find your mom, and it's Gwendolyn's mom, but she's also saying this to Gwendolyn as well. She's not going to talk to her outside of the conversation. And through a lot of, or I guess, a crazy last couple of days, we found out a lot, and we were looking for you, and just as we were told you weren't here, you got kidnapped. Quite roughly. And she's gonna glance at the guy again.
He again looks very sheepish and very ashamed of him.
Needless to say, your sudden disappearance raised a lot of concern. Not just by us who have been seeking you out, but amongst your headmaster, I guess. I don't really know college terms, but you're the dean. Yes, the amongst your dean and some of your other peers, and the press.
I was not hoping to be taken such a way, but Mr. Farafez has been quite kind. He made sure that I understood that it was not his intention to be so rough, that it was more just a sense of urgency than intention. But what did you mean by my aunt brought you here? To find my mother? My mother is in Jerusalem. Is she not in hospice?
I just look over to Jade and give her the what the fuck. We made a mistake, guys.
If there's something I am, it's I'm not
Bad
really
at lying?
Yeah, I'm not really too good at lying, and I don't really care for it, to be honest. So I'm just gonna be forward with you.
And you might want to is she like holding anything breakable?
A teacup.
You might want to put the teacup down.
She does, though she's looking a little more nervous now.
I don't mean to scare you or instill any more nightmares than have already been instilled on others from whatever being has been somewhat haunting or plaguing the minds of the people here. Although not last night, though. But anyhow, your mother is some kind of... Who do you think is your mother?
Oh my goodness.
God.
Laura Tafaruk.
Okay, so she's your aunt. Oh wait. Yes, so she's
Wow.
your...
Wow.
I feel like we sent the wrong people to do this part of the mission.
We're getting
I
rid-
thought we were
Like
just sending you
TV
guys to do the
other way.
nerdy things, and it turns out that this is all social and y'all are bad at it.
This is perfect.
I know what you're talking about. I do great in social situations. I'm really good at lying.
So she is actually your aunt. This may be shocking to you. But Loretta has a sister, and she sent us to go find her, and you're actually the child of her sister.
She looks like she's giving you a look like it was a good idea that you told her to put the glass down, because she looked like she would have dropped it otherwise.
Yes, I'm very good at that, at least.
And I know this is concerning, but there's more, and we care for your well-being, and I know this is going to be a shock to the system. I am not related to any of this, and everything has already been a shock to myself and my group. But how far did you get into all of your studies and such? Did you start to learn about different beings and what happens at the lighthouse? And did they tell you why exactly they're trying to take you into safety and such?
They wanted to be sure that I would be safe, so that way I could continue my studies without distraction. They said that my searching into the light of the lighthouse was something worth doing. She is looking like she's just still trying to struggle with the personal nature of what you've told to her, on top of trying to keep level head about what she's been studying.
Okay.
I was hoping to perhaps find some sort of meaning towards the light and the history, not just our history, but the ancient secret histories that are steeped within the lighthouse. And Mr. Farafas said that Madam Autis also wished to teach me. She is also interested in the lighthouse.
Jade is going to look at Aurora at the mentioning of this, because now I think she's kind of like, I don't know if we can say more about what's happening, because I don't know where the allegiance of these people lie.
Aurora and Jade, could both of you please give me intelligence rolls?
I could do that.
I guess we can. Oh,
Well, my gosh.
whoa, mama. Oh, no.
Oh, spaghetti.
So I rolled 100.
I passed.
I'm gonna re-roll.
Oh, no, not the devil.
What do we got here?
Roll a d10.
Let's
Roll
see.
d20. Do it.
Get a 200.
Get a 200.
I'm going to take. Okay. Oh no, Forge is the one we have right now, right? Oh, the Forge of the Days. Okay. I'm actually going to take one of the D6 from Forge of Days, and I'm going to pull from the person that's sticking their head into the forge, because it feels like she's trying to enlighten Gwendolyn, but maybe this isn't coming out the best, and that's the skull part that's disintegrating in the forge.
Everything's fine. Go right ahead and roll it for me.
Sweet Gherkins. Let's roll 1, 2, 6. Cool, I got a 10.
Brilliant. So, after initially not really recognizing it, just because Jade probably doesn't really focus too much on this sort of thing, Jade and Aurora both notice the way that Farafez looks at Gwendolyn. It is a look of, like, protectiveness, a look of guardianship, and he also looks to be blushing a little bit.
Oh no.
Oh dear. So he's looking at her with guardianship, protectiveness, and blushing?
Yeah.
Okay. Jade taking this in, although she herself doesn't really understand that too much. She's going to look to Gwendolyn and go, should I give you a moment to take in what I've already told you? Maybe give you some time before I continue?
Please, Mr. Farafez and I actually need to begin preparing. We have a appointment to get to, actually. She gets up and Farafez stands with her and looks to the both of you with a nod.
Miss Gwendolyn, before you go,
Yes?
how knowledgeable are you about the light? Or more so, I guess, about what can't be seen by normal eyes?
Only in theory. I hoped that Madame Otis would be willing to teach me a little bit more in depth about that sort of thing. That's actually who we're going to see. She said she has an evening planned for all of us.
Where exactly is it that you are going?
We are going to the grand ball at Fort Kate Bay this evening.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. Righto. And I know that what my associate and I broke to you is shocking news. Loretta and I have been close for a little bit. And if it means anything, she might not biologically be your mother, but she loved you like one. Loves you like one. And, sometimes that's more important.
She gives you a smile and says, I know. She will always be mother to me.
Yes, there's a reason that she sent us to make sure that you were okay.
She smiles and nods and begins to leave with Mr. Ferrafes. They both go outside and get into the motor carriage. The rumbling of the key turning over, starting it up. And as you look out, you see the motor carriage pull out of sight. And the rumbling stops.
Oh, dear.
Director Blackwood just finishes up her tea and says, not exactly the way I would be wanting to travel, but it works for them, I suppose. She looks to you both and says, Gwendolyn is not ready for this. Hopefully, she'll be ready by this evening, but I have my doubts. This should be to assist you two this evening. And she pulls out a folded letter and slides it over to both of you.
You seem to have a great big deal of knowledge of things and people, ma'am. Do you have any idea about what's going on with her and her birth mother?
Not directly, but I can guess. And it is a foul thing. But I cannot intervene. My business here prevents me from doing so. But I can open up the library and the ritual room of the Serapeum to you if need be.
I greatly appreciate that.
Of course. Take all the time you need. And we're back. We are going to now focus in on the three that were heading over to where they knew that the Endeavor Lodge would be, specifically the British Officers Club of Alexandria. The club itself is for off-duty military personnel of all nationalities to dance, drink, and sometimes be overly merry. The majority of the officers here are of the British military, who no longer have any power or real control over Alexandria, but they are still here. There are idle sailors, there are patrons only sometimes exiting to protest catcalls or pistol shots since the British gave Egypt back in 22. And at the moment outside there are a line of black Austin 12 motor carriages, and you can see several rather august gentlemen all speaking about past exploits and drinking brandy. One who seems to have several more medals and commendations on his lapel, speaking with several other very high-ranking naval officers.
Would it have been possible for me to hail us like a higher end cab so that we also show up in an automobile?
Absolutely, yes. Especially given that you are in a much
Margaret is
smaller group
not
now.
showing up not in style.
Of course, and given that you're in a much smaller group, it's much easier to fit you all into a motor carriage as opposed to the larger group that you had that had to be in a buggy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she would have taken the time to make sure that her hair was perfect, her outfit was perfect, and she would have gotten a nice car to arrive in.
As you do, the valets open the door for you, and the valet smiles at you. Welcome to the Officers Club.
Thank you. I'll hold a hand out, waiting for them to take it before I will step out of the car.
They will definitely take it to assist you out of the vehicle.
Are there people near the door?
There are a few, mostly lower-ranking sailors who are mostly just hanging out or waiting for their ride, since some of them look a little bit inebriated this afternoon.
Okay. Well, I will breeze inside like I own the place.
You are very easily able to get inside with the confidence that you exude. There is really nothing stopping you from entering, and with Clara and Francois alongside you. Inside, the music is soft, but a decent mix of jazz and blues that sort of just permeates the room as opposed to really being too loud. There's still a lot of conversations that cause a very low roar, most of which is coming from that table with the several high-ranking officers.
Okay. Well, my goal is to insinuate myself in a way that I become the most interesting person in the room.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an allure roll, and I'll go ahead and give you advantage since you are used to this sort of thing.
Okay, advantage is that I add 10, right?
That is correct.
I'm gonna re-roll that first number.
Go ahead.
That was not good. Go figure. I get to do the thing I'm extremely good at, and I still managed to roll over.
Roll a d8, go for doubles.
Yeah, I think I'm going to. I'm gonna go with the red grail, one of the d8s that's on the red grail, because I'm in my element. I'm
True.
literally in a club, surrounded by people who are drinking. No doubles, but it's a 57, so.
Okay. So, with the 57, you are basically immediately the most popular person in the room. Several gentlemen are coming up to introduce themselves as lieutenants and a few captains even. Though the way that you are looking about, you can see that there is a rather intense set of steely eyes upon you. You just feel it, that there is this power behind them and they are looking at you and working to take your measure while everyone else is tripping over themselves. They belong to the gentleman sitting at the higher-end naval officer table. Though while everyone else is speaking or talking or likely chatting about you and your associates, he is just watching silently while sipping at a tumbler of whiskey.
I
so badly want to go talk to this guy.
I am very much keeping my cool and acting like I don't notice him, or like he's beneath my notice because he hasn't deigned to come and speak to me himself. I'm doing that I'm out of reach for you thing, and kind of chatting and just being the most interesting person in like this crowd that is gathering around me. In the event that he gets up to approach me, I am going to wait until he gets close, and then I will pull out a cigarette and kind of like put it up like I'm waiting for somebody to light it.
It takes a couple more minutes of you entertaining those around you. Clara and Francois, what are you doing as she is working the room?
So badly resisting the urge to go over to that table where they seem to be gambling. Mostly because I'd probably get shot for stepping anywhere near it.
You were the one who was a little too eager to go to the casino.
Francois probably notices that Clara is dying to go there. You ask, so Clara, do you need to talk to these people?
I think talking to them could do us some good, yes.
Then go talk to them in your stead. Just tell me what I need to know, and I'll get back to you when I'm done.
Well, I think the one we really want to talk with is Decorated One. My guess would be that's the Captain Wellen that was mentioned in the paper. I don't have anything in specific I would like to talk about, but he seems to have taken notice of us.
I will try to insert myself into the table. And Francois will do that. He will try to join the officers at the table, getting Clara the information she needs.
As you get to that table, the individual with the steely eyes, his eyes just snap to you immediately, and he stands slowly but with this purpose. He offers a hand to you and says, "Captain Welland, a pleasure to meet you, sir."
Pleasure as well, Captain. Francis Brisby, a performer.
I believe I have attended a few of your shows. You put on good work. It is good to see someone of the agile arts here. Too many are focused solely on strength of steel, as it were. I find that there is some comfort in knowing those who utilize their forms in other ways.
Thank you, monsieur. I think after a hard-won peace, that is only fair that we enjoy the fruit of our victories, that we celebrate with arts.
I couldn't agree more. Your female associate that you came in with, he just gestures over to Margaret, who is currently fake laughing, but putting on a good show of it. I do not mean to press upon you, but if you could please introduce me, I would be very appreciative of it.
Just a side note, has he noticed Clara?
You can tell with the way that he glances Clara's direction. He has, but it's more of a acknowledging, the way you see it, with you've been around Clara enough, it's acknowledging a possible threat as opposed to anything else.
Okay. And will do exactly what he says. He will bring the captain to Margaret.
Margaret, Francois is bringing you the individual with the steely gaze and the medals that look like they would probably weigh down someone of a smaller frame.
I will finish up whatever joke I was telling, kind of, slide the punchline in, and then when he gets close, we'll produce the cigarette and slide it into the holder and lift it.
As he approaches, the other officers look to him and then just sort of fade away, just back off. And he will look to you, look to it, to the cigarette, and then reach into his pocket and pull out a rather powerful looking lighter that is all copper and has scribed in or engraved in symbol that looks akin to a hammer striking an anvil. And he will light your cigarette with it.
He is in uniform, yes, full regalia.
He is in full like parade uniform or like dress fatigues. Like dress uniform.
Is it still morning or is it afternoon?
It is afternoon, slowly sliding into evening.
Afternoon, Captain.
Afternoon, madam.
And I'll kind of put a hand out, knuckles up. Lady Margaret Wyndham.
He takes the hand and kisses it softly. Even just like the way he lifts your hand to his lips, there is a sort of rigid strength to him. And as he presses his lips there, he pulls back and with a very small, controlled smile, Captain Welland, an absolute pleasure, Lady Wyndham.
Feeling is quite mutual. Lovely club.
I dare say so. And I must thank our Egyptian associates for being willing to keep it running. They've earned their freedom, and I know that this place is likely akin to a wound for some of them.
I suppose it probably is. What can I do for you, Captain?
I do believe the correct answer would be, what can I do for you? The way that you work the room had a purpose. I would know what that purpose is.
Well, at least you're forward. Not something I'm accustomed to, I admit. I got word that there is supposed to be a smashing party this evening, and I thought, where better to go to get an invitation?
You wish to attend the grand ball in the bay?
Of course. Well, I hear it's the place to be tonight, and that there might be some people here who are important enough who have gotten an invitation. Might have a couple of plus ones they could bring along.
I could see this happening, yes. Though, I must admit, it would be in poor taste to not know who I am going to be bringing along to such a soiree. Please. And he will gesture to a small booth that is bereft of people now, where you can sit and chat.
I'll kind of gesture Clara and Francois and follow him to the booth.
All right.
Oh, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So, what exactly do you wish to attend this ball for? I can understand perhaps one individual, but to have 3, possibly even other associates?
I get like a a read on him. Like, I understand him, you know, like you generally don't bring along a whole fucking group to things like this, but I want to know, like, how guarded he is and if I can kind of pinpoint roughly why.
Yeah, I will go ahead and take a determination or intelligence roll. And I'll go ahead and give you advantage because this is just generally in your wheelhouse.
Okay. Hope I roll better than I did before. Go with determination. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. That's a 13.
All right. You can see that he is curious. He doesn't seem to be like upset or nervous. He's more just wondering what your deal is here because he looks like he has thought that you're just looking for another party to crash and has pushed that thought away.
Do I get the feeling that it would be better to just capitulate, that we're not looking to just crash a party, we have a purpose for being there?
You look like it might get you in better graces, though is still though that curiosity could still possibly act up if you're not careful.
Well, to be blunt, the daughter of a friend of ours is supposed to be there. We've had a difficult time locating her in all of the chaos in the city, and we believe that there may be people out to do her harm. We were hoping that if we showed up as just other patrons, we might be able to be there at least to keep an eye on her for the evening.
Does this associate of yours have a name?
She does.
Well, I would never turn down the ability to aid one in protecting the youth. I can get you all permittance into the ball, but I would require the name of the person that you'll be looking for so I may ensure that they are safe as well.
I will kind of glance at Clara and then look back at him. Her name is Gwendolyn Farouk. Might have seen her listed in the papers.
Yes, I have actually seen that name, and I've...
Gwendolyn is the daughter, right? I'm not completely...
Yes, Gwendolyn is the daughter.
As soon as I said it, I was just like, God, I hope I picked the right name.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're good. I see. I know of Gwendolyn. I know that one of my fellows in the same lodge I hold place in was wanting to speak to her. Madame Otis was wishing to see her. Both of them are quite focused on the area of the mind, despite the fact that our lodge focuses more on the body.
I cannot speak to your companion, having never met her, though I have heard the name. But her mother has been a dear friend of mine for some time, and asked me to come all the way to Alexandria to look into things here. And needless to say, I've been a little troubled, what with seeing the papers say that she's been kidnapped and her mother's house being destroyed yesterday. It's all been quite a shock. I couldn't in good conscience go back to London without knowing that she's safe.
I suppose so. I will ensure that she is safe, and I am certain that Madame Otis does not wish to cause any harm to her either. I will ensure that you are all admitted into the ball at its time.
Thank you.
While I know that many members of the aristocracy see coming in fashionably late as a normal procedure, I would ask that you arrive on time, please. It'll be at 7 this evening.
I shall endeavor to do so.
Excellent. And he will go ahead and raise his whiskey glass, smiling, to our future endeavors.
Mm.
And he will then just down it all in one.
Well, I don't have a drink, but I will take a long drag off of my cigarette. I do have one more favor to ask.
By all means, ask it.
In the course of the evening, if there proves to be an opportunity, I do hope you'll keep a spot open on your dance card.
Always.
Excellent. That's that. I was just being cheeky. I just wanted to have an extra line.
So, after a little bit more time, it's coming closer to dusk when you're all able to reconvene. Aurora, did you decide to wait at the Serapeum to perform the ritual that you knew would have to be done around dusk at the time of power? Or did you just take what you needed from the Serapeum so that way you could perform the ritual elsewhere? The director would allow you to take what you need for this particular ritual because she knows you're going to work to protect Gwendolyn.
Yeah. Here are my options. You see, do it now where nobody can really stop me, or wait and then potentially have somebody stop me. So, I think I'm gonna hang it back for a little bit.
Okay.
And when they see me, they see me.
Okay. So, the ritual that you perform is... I'm going to need a night arts roll, but I'm going to go ahead and give you 2 advantages because you had been given this ritual by a being of the Mansis.
Of course, yep. $75. I think I'm going to... Yeah. I'm going to roll a d6. Again, I'm pulling from the moth. Because this is a ritual from the Mansis. Yep. That's about, from my knowledge, about as chaotic as it's gonna get.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to replace that 7. Aiming for 5, but we'll take lower. 55.
Yeah.
Okay. You perform this ritual without issue. The ritual required you to utilize a obsidian blade rinsed in seawater, calling upon a being known as Maliguna as you do so. The blade remains unsullied until you utilize the rite, where you unveil yourself, burning jasmine or incense or freshly cut flowers in a brazier, and invoking the beings Escara and Maliguna in both their natures, praising their attributes. You bring the blade up and perform the rite. Pain at your cheek, but knowing that this rite will work, especially as you utilize molten copper to cauterize it. As you finish off this rite, I would like you to make a note that your determination has increased by 5 permanently.
Nice.
But you are at risk of fascination.
Of course.
And you feel that you are not alone in the room anymore. That there is something that you have brought into this world now watching, waiting for you to call upon her. And you know her to be the Veiled Lady.
Yeah, the Veiled Lady. I know who that is. I think. Yeah, I know who that is. Cool. Cool.
And now you are able to return to your associates back at the theater. And your associates can see that you now have a small cut at your cheek, which has been cauterized with molten copper.
Maybe I should have asked Jade to keep an eye on Aurora, not the other way around.
I'm fine.
We found the place, but we also, she's gonna lean in and go, we also found and spoke to Gwendolyn.
You found her?
Yeah, she's,
Where is she?
well, now she's on her way to the Endeavor Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
To meet, and she's gonna hold up the letter that was given to us by Dr. Serena.
Dr. Serena Blackwood.
Dr. Blackwood, and she's going to the Endeavor Lounge to meet Madame Otis, who, and she's gonna look to Margaret, like you said, Otis is sometimes used to be another name. Madame Otis is also Audrey, her mom, which I did slip and tell her that Audrey's her. Well, I didn't say Audrey, but I said that Loretta's not her mom and she didn't take it too well. I mean, she took it okay, but not too well.
Well, we were supposed to arrive to that ball on time, yes? They didn't say anything about being early, did they?
No. I still don't understand why you don't have her with you, but all right.
She was with a guy. We couldn't just pull them away.
I have to go change. I got us tickets to the ball. Invitations, I should say.
But I'm almost certain we're going to be watched the entire time, so we need to be very careful what we say and do.
Oh, no worries. If things blow up, I have a backup plan.
I'd rather keep things from blowing up in the first place.
Well, I mean, with our track record, you can hope and hope, but...
I have disappeared into my little space, and I am pulling out my because I never go anywhere without like a dress to the nines outfit, just in case there's a party. So
fair enough.
Absolutely stunning beaded ball gown made of liquid silk.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone else working to dress up a little bit more for the ball this evening?
Sure, Francois will take this time to get cleaned up too.
Should make sure I'm not covered in blood.
Yeah.
Probably,
Probably.
yes.
I guess we're all getting dressed up for the party. Gonna
was-
cover my bronze cheek.
I would stick my head out and look at Jade. Do you have evening wear?
Yeah, but I try not to stick out too much. So, I mean, I could put something.
Are you going to stick out if you're not dressed in evening wear tonight?
So then, no, I don't have evening wear.
I'll pull out one of my dresses. It's not the nicest one I have because I'm wearing the nicest one I have, but it's still very nice. Most of my clothes are like more than some people make in a month, so.
Can't be serious. She's looking at it like,
I'm very
Okay.
serious.
She's gonna begrudgingly take it and go get dressed in it.
Normally, how uncomfortable you are, I'd suggest that you pose as staff, but you're not very good at lying.
No, I'm not. I prefer to just be by myself, so I don't have to lie to others.
Yeah, that's not going to be an option tonight. Stick with someone who can do the talking.
You got it. She's gonna go get dressed and be reading while getting dressed.
Fair enough. All right, so you all are able to get dressed up as much as you like, and you all are prepared for this evening. You're able to easily make your way out to the bay. No trouble at all chartering a small boat to take you out to the island where the ball is going to be held. And as you get out there and get into the ballroom itself, you are able to see that it is akin to a castle, a sturdy, carnellated castle on the eastern tip of the island. There are geometric floors, wide stone arches lit entirely by torches and candles, no electric lights at all. You can see that there are women in silk and pearls, generals and admirals in full dress uniforms, white-jacketed waiters with polished silver trays, with glasses of champagne and whiskey and brandy. There's a full hubbub of voices, a full orchestra playing British classics like Elgar, W. Parry, the wash of ocean waves visible through the open doors in the eastern wall. And of course, a hive of black Austin 12s that have been brought in by ferry. You all are admitted in without issue, and you are greeted by Captain Welland, who looks to have been waiting for you. Good evening, Lady Wyndham.
Good evening.
I
These are
assume
my associates.
an absolute pleasure to meet you all. He offers another handshake to Francois, and will offer a hand to the rest of the ladies, given be a handshake or the same way that he was able to greet Lady Wyndham.
Clara gives him an aggressive handshake.
Okay. He will return the aggressive handshake, and his grip is literally like a vice. Like, if you try to move it without his say-so, there's not like even a slight budge. Well, I do hope that you will enjoy the evening. My table is over there, and he will just gesture over to a table where there are several individuals of higher ranking in the British military. And if you have any questions or need any assistance, you can come and speak to me or to any of my associates. You will notice us by our pins. And he will tap a small pin that shows a hammer bathed in fire.
Noted. Would I be able, from the stuff that I researched, would I be able to recognize anything based upon this a pin and the symbols on this pin?
With all of the time you spent researching, you know that is the accepted symbol of the being known as the Forge, or the aspect known as the Forge.
Sure.
It is a aspect focusing more on physical prowess and on power.
Okay.
Out of character, on the way here, Margaret would have mentioned that he said that he was friends with Altus. So she's gonna keep an eye on him. But we should probably pay attention to the people that he we should probably pay attention to the people that he talks to.
Keep an eye on anybody wearing one of those pins for sure.
Okay. And I would say, while we were walking, I would describe to the group the man that was with Gwendolyn. So, because I think that's who Jade is going to keep an eye out for. What's his name again?
Farafez.
Farafez. Okay. Yeah.
So, who is doing what exactly? Or are you all moving as a group? You're able to see several people wearing the pins, but at the moment it seems that things are still picking up a little bit. They haven't gotten to the full party just yet.
I'll mingle. Work the room, kind of do my thing, make myself the most interesting person.
Okay.
Because the more people who want to interact with me, the easier it is for me to tell who's coming and going, so.
Fair enough. Go ahead and give me a lower roll. Everyone else, what are y'all doing?
Clara would like to keep an eye out, particularly on the people wearing the pins, and just be kind of sizing them up, seeing who she can take, who she might not be able to take by herself.
Okay. Give me
Risk
a
assessment.
Give me a knife fighting roll.
Before she does anything rash, Francois was gonna say, Clara, I believe, is not wise to antagonize the good captain and his colleagues.
She's not doing anything. She's just looking around.
Okay. Well, Francois will give the warning anyway, because yesterday he's seen her like kill like 4 people on the docks. So.
I'm going to roll a d6 off of the Forge of Days, because we are surrounded by people with Forge pins.
That's correct.
It's a 61, so that passes.
Beautiful.
With knowledge that Gwendolyn is either already at the party or will be arriving soon. Aurora, accompanied by her friend that nobody knows that is there yet. I think I'm just gonna kind of like, I'll mingle every now and again, but my attention is mostly focused on like watching out for her or looking for her, just kind of keeping my eyes peeled.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an intelligence roll.
Okay.
Or determination. I'll allow either.
Okay. My intelligence is slightly higher. Not by much, but slightly. Yeah, that's a success.
Okay. Jade and Francois, are you two doing anything specific?
Yes, I'm keeping an eye out for Farace, as well as I'm mingling, but not in the social way. It's kind of like where there's people just sitting and relaxing, and maybe if there's anyone like that's sitting off to the side, she'll probably kind of sit there and like, casually read, like look around the room. Just like the quiet corners. She's along the walls or in like a nook or whatever, looking around but keeping an eye out for this guy or anything that looked like the glass that what's his name, Everett, was held in.
Intelligence check, please.
Mm-hmm.
And Francois, or are you just sitting next to Clara perhaps this evening?
Well, if it looks like Clara's gonna get into trouble, Francois is gonna try to help. But if not, I guess he will go around and try to like listen for some rumors. Anything that would help to what we're doing right now.
Intelligence check as well, please.
And that's a pass.
Okay. Starting with Lady Wyndham.
Yes.
You are very easily able to make yourself, again, life of the party. A little less intense or visceral of a reaction from the people here who seem to be a little bit stuffier, a little bit more like this is a proper English party. It is more meant to be a formal affair than the more wild and energetic parties that you're used to. But you're still able to work your way into it well enough.
I grew up in this society. I get it.
It's true. You're able to very easily ingratiate yourself with these people. You can see that even at the stage where there is apparently going to be another play akin to the one that is being shown at the theater that you all left, there are a pair of sleek, bored-looking cheetahs that have been changed to the end of the stage. They're well-groomed and well-fed, but they also look like predatory animals.
Oh, that's unsettling.
You can see that a lot of people are talking about Captain Welland being here, and a lot of people talking about Madame Otis. Some of them even say that they have spoken to her before and say that tonight she seems off, that she seems a little distracted.
Do they at any point look towards her or anything? Like, can I figure out where she is based on what they're like, how they're behaving?
Everyone who is looking for Gwendolyn, Ferafez, or Madame Otis look over and see the table where all three of them are sat. Gwendolyn and Ferafez are speaking, laughing, talking, just chatting like they don't have a care in the world. Madame Otis looks like Loretta, as one would expect a sister to look like another sister, but young. Like she looks barely older than Gwendolyn herself looks now.
Mm.
She also looks almost drowsy, and she has this odd, glassy look that is solely focused on Gwendolyn, and a thin sheen of sweat on her brow. Her skin almost looks like polished marble instead of actual skin.
So Gwendolyn is here.
Gwendolyn is here, Ferafez is here, and Audrey is also here. They are all sat at the same table. As for Clara, you notice that several of the people wearing the pin look like military men. They look like they've seen a little bit of fighting. they would probably be a little bit of a challenge for you. But when you look at the higher ranking officers wearing the pin, and Welland himself especially, you get the distinct feeling you should not tussle with them.
All right, roughly what I was expecting. We'll see how quickly she chooses to ignore that.
And Francois, I believe that 66 is under your intelligence, or is it above it?
A bit above.
You don't really hear anything too much about what's going on currently. Most of the rumors are about odd things that are happening in Germany, things that are just happening in other parts of the world, especially like America at the current time.
Another day in the world.
Yep.
I would like to insinuate myself at the table with all the people.
Okay. You are able to make your way over with a young lieutenant who wears the pin, and he says, excuse me, Madam Altis, I'm sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to introduce you to my new dearest friend, Lady Margaret Wyndham. Audrey looks like she doesn't register it for like a full second, maybe two, before she slowly turns her head to look up at you and puts on a very fake smile. How do you do?
Pleasure. Do you mind if I join you? Been standing since we got here. I'm positively exhausted.
She looks like she's about to say something before Gwendolyn pipes up and says, "Oh, please, join us. Go right ahead." And Audrey looks like immediately to her daughter, but smiles a melancholic smile and says, "Yes," as she says, "Please."
Thank you. And I will slide in and have a seat.
And everyone else is able to fully see that Margaret is now at the table with Gwendolyn, Farafis, and Audrey.
I'm going to step a little bit closer. Not too much to make myself like super visible, but enough to where if something, if somebody snaps or something happens, I'm able to kind of intervene. Just in case.
Fair enough.
I think after noticing this, you said there's a stage, correct?
There is, yes.
Is it possible I can... Oh dear. It's the Sam in me. Is it possible I can sneak backstage?
Yes, I will say that you can. It would require a roll of either blend or dexterity.
Well, one is higher than the other, so I would probably go with dexterity. And let's see what happens. Oh, my dexterity is 50. I rolled a 49.
You are able to deftly sneak your way backstage. The cheetah that you pass just looking at you like curiously before looking back around to just watch all the various people going to and fro.
Cool. Is there like anything back there that's like, oh, there's gonna be a sacrifice happening here?
Nothing that seems so blatant. There you see performers working to prepare to tell the story of Kronos and his children, as is usual. But aside from that, nah.
Interesting.
Though you do feel like something in the air is beginning to slowly shift. Not like intensely, like things are going very sideways very quickly, but things are sliding.
Okay. And I don't see anything that's like the glass that we saw on the ship that one time, right? Nothing similar to that?
You do not.
Okay.
Though you did see a small pendant on Audrey's neck, the pendant of which was looked to be shaped like a very small glass lantern.
Noted. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna stay back here and try to, I guess, blend in and just chill back here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Margaret, you are currently sat at the table with Gwendolyn and Farafez and Audrey.
Yes.
Gwendolyn says, "So happy to meet you. I'm Gwendolyn Farouk. I'm a scholar at the local university."
So I've heard you were in the paper.
Oh, I don't think I'm worth quite all that, but
Oh,
there is
nonsense.
some... Oh, thank you so much. It does feel good to have my work recognized.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Continue.
It's quite all right. We were just speaking about the wonders of the lighthouse, how the building itself still has so much that we could learn from it. Admittedly, some people, the historians and the geographers and the architects have all generally found what they can about the place, but perhaps there's something more closer to where the actual light in the lighthouse was. But we will just need to... I'm hoping that Madame Otis and I will be able to find out more about it together. And she reaches across and takes Audrey's hand, and Audrey looks like she wants to start crying. But she just gives her a small smile, that same melancholy in it.
Try to get a better read on Audrey.
Yes, and I will give you 3 advantages because she's doped up out of her mind at the moment.
Oh, goody. Okay. What is it, like intelligence?
I will say it's intelligence or perhaps even... Yeah, I'll just say it's intelligence or determination.
I'll go with determination. That's higher for me. Especially given how I've been rolling tonight. Yep, I'm good.
You can tell that she is not eager or malicious. She is resigned.
So we've been going at this perhaps the wrong way. We all thought that she was the one out to kill her kid, but it doesn't seem that way.
She is out to do it, but she's not. But she's
not happy about it. She doesn't want to.
She very much hates that she has to, or she feels that she needs to. It's not a choice for her.
Is there the people at the table? Does anybody seem particularly in charge?
Her, because even as every time she's spoken, Farafes has generally looked to her, just wondering what's going to happen next, or if she is going to tell him to do something. He looks like he is very much trying to be in his depth, and is so out of his depth he's drowning.
This is so weird. So I have no idea who could be putting her in a position where she feels like she doesn't have a choice. Okay. I'm gonna keep an eye on the rest of the room. I'll make small talk with Gwendolyn, especially about her work. kind of talk about the fact that my family's known for being patrons of scholars, and perhaps we could I could speak to my father about helping to fund her research further.
You are able to do this, and at a point, the band picks up a little bit, and Gwendolyn's beams and pulls Farafis away to go and dance out on the dance floor, and leaves you and Audrey alone. Audrey's eyes still just follow Gwendolyn the entire time.
I'd like to lean over and speak to her very quietly. I can tell you don't want to do this, but you feel like you have to.
I don't feel like I have to. I have to.
Why?
The crime of the sky calls to us all who commit the act of bearing progeny when one is along with another long.
I would like to try and be within earshot of the table, potentially at like another table close by, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Give me a blend roll or a scoundrel roll. I'll allow either.
Okay, cool.
Clara was like, blending is not what I do. Being shady as shit is what I do. That's a 20. Yeah, you're good.
You're fine. So you are at another table, just having struck up conversation with a few of the lower ranking soldiers, those who were like boots on the ground, actually in the muck, and actually now telling war stories. And but you are close by, along with a few soldiers, some of which are wearing the pins. Francois, I am assuming you are also close by?
We said Gwendolyn's dancing with the...
Dancing with Farafes at the moment, currently.
Francois is gonna try to grab a dance partner and try to just follow them along, just keeping within like a close distance of them.
Brilliant. Okay. And Aurora, you are close by as well, along with your veiled associate.
Yes. So, funny enough, when I was also going to do the same thing. When I see Gwendolyn getting up and starting to like make her way to the dance floor, I was going to find like go on the dance floor and like kind of stay in between to where she can kind of keep her eye on Gwendolyn without looking super suspicious.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep.
I will say with enough bodies moving around, you don't even have to roll. You're able to basically just stay kind of hidden within all of the moving, dancing people. Audrey takes her eyes off of Gwendolyn to look at Margaret. And Margaret, looking in her eyes, you can see that there is that melancholy, but it's barely containing a look of need, a look of hunger. I don't have a choice.
You do. You're her mother. There's no greater love than a mother's love for her child.
They took her from me.
Yes, I think because they suspected what was going to happen if they didn't.
They were right. But I still never got to know this brilliant young woman. This one so full of life and knowledge and care for the world and the secrets it holds.
had you known about her, had you been the one to walk away from the hospital with her, do you think she ever would have gotten to this point to become this person?
No. She would not have had the chance.
I understand. Well, I can't fully understand, but I can imagine how painful it must be to know that you didn't get a chance to know her, but it should mean a great deal to you that she was able to live so much of her life.
It has.
And she can still live a great many more years if you give us the opportunity to get her somewhere safe.
She looks deep into your eyes, and she, with her left hand, pushes her drink, which looks to be a large, like a double of whiskey, and her right hand places a small vial filled with a powder on the table. If you would, please. I don't want her to know what the purpose of this was. I want her happy, and I want her to be better than myself or Everett ever could be. In all of our immortal years, I want her to be the better person.
I think being the better person she can do on her own, but I can make sure that she has the opportunity to.
Thank you. I do not know how long this will last, but it should give you time to leave, and please tell Captain Welland I am sorry for lying to him. And please tell him to give me a burial at sea, as it were. He will know what to do.
Of course.
She holds her cup out to you for you to pour in the powder. And when you do...
will do so.
When you do, she downs it, and her eyes become glassy once again, and she just begins to stare off into space like she is miles away.
I will give her hand a little squeeze and stand up, and go to find Clara.
Clara is nearby.
Yeah. I'm going to Clara, and I'm going to lean down and basically explain what's going on, that we have the opportunity to get the girl out. And I have to go find the captain before we do.
Well?
Or she could go find the captain. One of us has to go find the captain and pass along the message, and the other one has to go find the girl and get her the fuck out of here.
Child.
Yes.
Well, I think the captain trusts you more than he does me, so it's probably best if you go talk to him.
All right. Be gentle with her. She doesn't understand what's going on, and her mother doesn't want her to.
I'll do what I can.
I'll go find the captain and leave Clara to tell the others.
The captain is currently sitting alone at his table, as the rest of the other officers have taken up dance partners and gone to dance on the dance floor.
I believe you promised me a dance.
That I did. And he rises up in one swift motion and will take your hand and gently guide you to the dance floor to waltz.
Once we are dancing and properly into the waltz, and I'm sure that it's going to be incredibly difficult for people to overhear us because we're moving.
Yep.
I will speak. I will keep my voice low. I have been asked to give you a message.
Then please give it.
Mademoiselle Otis says that she is sorry she lied to you. And that she wishes to be buried at sea, and that you knew what that would mean.
His steps thump. He has a misstep of a half step in the waltz.
I will
but
adjust for him.
He looks like he appreciates that, and just without anything beyond that on his face, gives a small nod. The playfulness, however, is gone from his face. Now it is a intense seriousness. It will be done after the ball, then.
I'll nod. I imagine you will want more information that she's going to be in no shape to give you.
If you would.
And I will, for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to take him. I'm not going to role play out the whole thing, but I will take him over the events that have happened. What I know, make it very clear that I don't fully understand everything that's going on, but that the end result was that she was going to eat her daughter, she was going to sacrifice her child, and decided to sacrifice herself instead so that her daughter has a chance at a good life. And that my intention is to whisk her kid away and ensure that she has a chance at said life.
He is silent throughout your entire explanation and smiles at the end of it and nods. Good. I believe that is the best result any of us could hope for with what's currently at play here.
Well, I can't pretend to understand this part of your life. I do hope that I get to see you again after all this is over in much better circumstances. You seem like a good man.
I try to be, when my duty permits it.
I will nod.
I will look for you at the Naval Club in London.
Good. I would like that.
Music slowly dies away. He takes your hand and kisses the knuckles again softly. Be good, Lady Wyndham, and may the Forge of Days help you to become stronger. And he will then just look to other officers with a stern glance that shows that fun time is over. And he will then just give a short gesture to Madame Otis, and they will begin to move in her direction.
All right. Assume that other things happened while the dance was happening, so I'll be quiet now.
Yep.
Clara would definitely begin by trying to find the others.
Clara's able to easily find the dancers and those on the dance floor. And Jade, as the performers were coming out, you were just gently pushed out from behind the stage, having witnessed all of the talking and seeing nothing go horribly wrong, thankfully.
Yeah, she's gonna grab, if there's any spare costumes or whatever, she's gonna grab a couple of them and just kind of hold on to them a little bit. She's gonna fold them nicely and hold them, but she'll kind of be like, oh, sorry, looking for a quiet place to read. And then join the group on the dance floor and dance very awkwardly somewhat next to Francois.
Fair enough. Clara, you're able to collect everyone. Aurora, you are from your place at the dance floor, seeing so many gentlemen descend upon Audrey, gently lifting her up and taking her outside of the building. You see several of them come back in and reach into these black lacquered cases that were kept off to the side, and they are starting to pull out chains. Before they leave. And Margaret, do you collect Gwendolyn and Farafes?
I do.
Gwendolyn looks to you and says, "What has happened to Madame Otis? I saw these other gentlemen."
Apologizes. She was called away on urgent business. Thankfully, I have a business proposition for you. I would very much enjoy it if you two would join me.
Certainly. And they move to follow you. Farafes looks out to where the other members of the lodge were going, and then looks at you with a bit of shock, but then which turns into a knowing look, a knowing and somewhat haunted look, and gives you a small and curt nod.
Yeah, I'll kind of very slight nod in return because I don't want the child to know what's going on. I'll just kind of hook my arm with hers, and as we are walking out, we'll just start chattering about, as you know, my family are great patrons of scholars and of the arts, and we have this fund, and I'm
keeping her distracted.
Very distracted, yes. And playing up the life that I am hoping I can give her after all of this is over.
Fair enough. You all are able to quickly depart from this place. And after ensuring that Gwendolyn is safe, you are able to, the next day, get tickets to the Taurus Express once again, heading back into London. Gwendolyn, while she is wanting to take the grants that you're willing to give her, that the Wyndham estate is willing to part with to give her, wishes to explore a little bit more of Europe as a whole before she settles back into London or settles with one particular position. But after she has left, you all do find a note. She had left during the night, but you all find a letter addressed to all of you. And I will put that in the references.
You want one of us to read it?
I will read it.
Okay.
As you all are heading back to London once again, you are reading the letter. Friends, I will not tell you where I go, for I no longer trust the note to reach you unopened. Having been stayed at the La Metropole or the Theatre Zeninia, it's understandable. But the fact that I breathe is thanks to you. I am forever grateful. And Farafes has told me a small amount. A child of too long. No wonder the lighthouse tormented me. It was a call of my true mother and father, though none of us knew it was so. Dr. Blackwood says I am unique, that the hours have taken an interest in me, that I am destined for great things. Right now, I only want time to think. Dr. Blackwood has offered me that. I felt the edges of the house in Alexandria. I smelled its sweet airs, but I did not know the creatures that hunger there or the mercilessness of the laws there. I will not follow my ambitious parents to the higher levels of the house, but I do wish to study it, to seek a better life than the one I leave behind. Not everything can be as cruel as the forge or sharp as the lantern, can it? Nothing can be as cruel as its laws that prevent love and family. As for Loretta and Moish, they chose life over death and depravity, though it cost them their innocence. They made their choice. I now make mine. Onwards and upwards, though not too far up. Yours forever, Gwendolyn. And after several weeks have passed, you all receive a picture that has not only Gwendolyn in it, but Ferafez. They look happy. They look like they are enjoying time together in Paris. And there is comfort in knowing that despite everything that has happened, despite all of this knowledge that some of you embrace and others reject violently, there's good that has been done. And thus the doors to the Manses close themselves on this tale.